We have a keep, trade, cut from our Discord community today. Shout out to 30 Hurdy, who asked the question, guys. Keep, trade, cut, Brandon Aiyuk, Tyler Lockett, Diontae Johnson.
It's pretty simple for me, don't you think?
I don't know what you're going to say, so it's hard.
Okay, I'll give you my answer. Keep Brandon Aiyuk, trade Diontae Johnson, and cut Tyler Lockett.
That's hilarious because we have completely every one of those categories is different for us.
Every single one. Okay.
Every single one of them. I'm so excited. Go ahead.
No, that's awesome. So, yeah, like I said, my first one is keep. I believe Brandon Aiyuk is going to come into his own this year. Obviously, he's going to upgrade and Trey Lance. When is that happening? We don't know, but we do believe Trey Lance is going to be on the field. I am trading Diontae Johnson because I still believe there's fantasy value in Diontae Johnson. Let's remember that my guy he was like the number one target on that team for a long time. He had 144 targets in 2020, but the biggest thing...
He had 144 drops too.
Nah, that's what I was about to say. He had 16 drops. Imagine if he caught all those passes. You know, where he would have finished. Obviously, I know Tyler Lockett probably finished ahead of him, but Tyler Lockett does have the competition of DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson with the legs. So I think I would rather... I guess the two big questions here is trading Diontae Johnson and cutting Tyler Lockett for me. So that was like the biggest.
So you weren't sure on those two? That was harder for you?
Yeah, that was harder for me, 100%.
Okay, I am keeping Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
I am trading Brandon Aiyuk, and I am cutting Diontae Johnson. I'll explain the first one. Keep Tyler Lockett. I'm starting to like Lockett more and more this year, okay? Because his value continues to get lower. And I think it's because he has the inconsistent tag. I'm not here to tell you that that's the wrong tag to place on him. I think it is. But money talks sometimes. He just signed a massive contract. It's really just like there's no tight end there that's standing out to me. I love Everett, but I don't think he can take away any targets. It's only DK and Tyler. Who else is getting the ball in that offense, in my opinion? I think Lockett's going to have a great year still. I think he has a chance to finish as a top 24 wide receiver again. I'm trading Aiyuk. Firstly, I love Brandon Aiyuk. Okay, I just want to say that I'm an Aiyuk lover, but his value is so high right now. This is a guy who's going in the 4th to 5th round at the moment. Meanwhile, Debo, his teammate, is going in the 7th to 8th round. If Debo's healthy, it wouldn't be crazy if he was the better fantasy wide receiver this year.
Right.
That wouldn't blow me away.
Okay.
So personally, I think Aiyuk is kind of at an all-time... His stock is just risen throughout this offseason. So I'm really comfortable trading him and allowing myself to be wrong if I'm wrong, because I think I could get really good value for Aiyuk right now.
Yeah, so essentially you're trading Aiyuk just because of what value you can receive.
Exactly.
Okay.
The hype train is there. Let me get that value back.
Okay, makes sense.
Diontae Johnson, I'm cutting. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I do not want any Steelers wide receiver this year. Big Ben threw 40 pass attempts per game last year. That was the 3rd highest amongst all quarterbacks, and it didn't look good. Najee Harris was drafted to help the run game, but I had a revelation recently. He wasn't only drafted to help the run game. He was drafted to alleviate... He was drafted to alleviate the pass game for Big Ben.
Okay.
So I think that's a really important part of this. All that being said, 48 pass attempts per game last year for Big Ben. I see that number coming down to 25 per game, which means there will be way less targets. Hundreds of targets taken away from last year to this year in that offense.
Okay.
So I'm avoiding all those guys. So again, keeping Tyler Lockett, trading Aiyuk, cutting Diontae Johnson. Diontae's talented, but
and
there's not enough targets for all three of those guys.
And I agree, and I hear you on the losing of the targets. I think the general consensus of the community likes Diontae more. I think they believe in him. Obviously, the biggest question mark is that quarterback. Hey. Yeah, the biggest question is that quarterback and what Ben Roethlisberger is going to be. You know, what Najee Harris is going to do in this, in this backfield and taking away all these targets. Yeah. So I think that was why I went with trading Diontae, because I still believe I can get something back.
Yeah. And I'll say this as well, just quickly. Like, we could be very wrong on Diontae. And for whatever reason, we've had a little bit of hate on YouTube recently where we give our opinions. and people are like, "Oh, these nerds talking football," or "Oh, it's obvious these kids never played football," or whatever, right? And I just want to clarify: we are not scouts. We don't work for ESPN. We don't work for NFL teams. We're not coaches. I've never coached. I played Pee-wee football, but
Right.
we are going to look at analytics. We're going to, use reason and logic to come to these conclusions. So that's how I kind of came to my conclusions. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I love Aiyuk. It was hard for me to put him in the trade category, but I think everything's based off of value right now, in my opinion, when I look at this.
And I agree. And, I thought about who can I get Diontae for? Who is he going around? If I look at him right now, he's the wide receiver 24, a Jamar Chase, a Kenny G, a T. Higgins. If I can trade Diontae Johnson for a T. Higgins in a redraft league, I think we're both buzzing about that,
Yeah.
So it's those thought process that I kind of have when I think about
I agree.
somebody.
I think when I think of Brandon Aiyuk, I think I could trade Aiyuk for like a Kenny Golladay, maybe one of the Woods or Cups, maybe even a Julio Jones. Like he's got his value so high. So
right.
That's where I kind of sit with that. But
seems fair.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was actually really fun.
I like that.
I'll quickly ask you in Dynasty. So if this was reversed, because let's say we're in Dynasty now, because that was, this conversation is all based off of PPR redraft. If we're in a Dynasty league, does this change for you?
No, I think I keep it the same. I'll keep Aiyuk. I still trade Diontae because of the value, and I'll cut Lockett. Lockett's an older guy. Diontae's still young, fresh legs. I think he's 25 years old, 26 years old. How old is Lockett? That's the biggest question then.
Yeah.
I think Lockett was 27, 28 potentially.
I'll double check on that, but I was just going to say I actually have the same perspective as well.
Okay.
I'm going to keep Aiyuk, trade Diontae, and cut Tyler Lockett if it's a Dynasty league.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we kind of see at least one thing the same.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't always happen. Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.